we are going to enjoy his own advice today. So I also have to introduce to you Uche Diji, who is right now in Accra, Ghana. Uche, welcome to the program.
Hello, good evening, wonderful people of Biafrans all over the world. Biafrans in Biafra land, our leaders and our moderator, I greet you all. This is your humble servant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uche, for coming to our program, just like you have always done. And we are indeed grateful to you for making our time to be with us always. Now, we are here to discuss on current issues, current matters that pertain to Biafra land and to Nigeria generally. Now, over the time, people have been asking questions. Why is it that our quest, our road to freedom is taking so long a time? People keep on asking this question. Why is it that the road to Biafra is so long? It takes a lot of time, energy, years, and what have you. Now, we are here to inform our people. We are here to tell them why it is that every road to freedom is not an easy one. This is true because freedom once gained lasts forever. And anything that is going to last forever takes a long time in being realized. This is why our own is taking so long a time. It did not start with the bim-massob family. It did not start with Biafra. If you take the history of all the nations that achieved their own independence, most of them undertook a journey that took 20 years, 30 years, or even more. If we start from somewhere in the Bible, before our ancestral fathers, the Israelites, reached the promised land, you can imagine it took them 40 years to cross. 40 years from Egypt to Israel, which are neighbors. The two countries are neighbors, but it took them 40 good years before they could cross this ordinary desert. Hello? Hello, Emeka Ojo from Ikwano. You are welcome to the program.
Yes. Two comments at the time. So you want to answer the first one, eh?
Yeah, I had wanted to join the two so that everybody will hear one another. That's what I intended. But
Okay.
we got lost to some of the two of you. So now, like I said earlier on, you are now hooked on to Voice of Biafra International, and every statement you are making is being heard by Biafrans all over the world. So you're welcome to our program.
Yes. Happy Christmas.
And you too. We are going to celebrate Christmas in a good fashion. We are happy indeed. We are approaching Christmas time.
Yes. And we are looking forward to see the Messiah. Then we are still looking forward to see the new, how can I put it, the new country or the
Exactly.
new savior.
Exactly. That is what we are discussing here now. We are in.
Yeah. We are not looking for the new. We are not looking for the new.
Exactly. Everything is being put in place for our Biafran government to take off immediately. That is why we are making sure that anything that is required to do, we are doing it right now. We are starting the Biafra Nations League. The Biafra League from January 18th, we are starting our Biafra League, just like we have Nigerian League today or any other league. Then our government is starting fully. Both our FM station, our television station, each and every one of them will be starting in the next few weeks. Both the FM and our TV station, Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, everything will be starting in the next few weeks. We are putting finishing touches. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's which means anybody who got who get a television must expect to see the new station.
Once we finish both FM on radio, our television on television screens and what have you, we are going to stream live to all the Biafrans and the whole world, anywhere you are. This is the instruction Wazika has given.
Even in the country.
Everywhere. This is the instruction Wazika has given in line with the United Nations, advice, and we are marching towards it.
Okay.
So since yesterday, we have been busy making sure that things come into play. That is what we are doing. Everybody is busy.
Okay. My credit is finished, so I will take all again maybe tomorrow or next.
Okay, we are having broadcast tomorrow as well, the same time. Biafra.
Okay.
We are having a call once again. I mean a broadcast.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us.
God bless you.
And bless you too. Thank you. So, fellow Biafrans, like we are discussing, or like we are still talking anyway, the road to freedom takes time, but we are almost there. We have to remember that our ancestral fathers, the Israelites of old, between Egypt and Israel is just a stone throw. It's a cockcrow distance. But it took them 40 good years to cross over the Red Sea, the desert. Our own Jehovah, in his infinite wisdom, knew why it was so. It is a way of preparing a people for the task ahead. Because when you get something so cheaply, so easily, it does not last long. So the Israelites of old, our ancestral fathers, because that is where we are coming from, it took them 40 years. But we are not saying that it will take us 40 years to reach Biafra land. No. As of that time, there was no technology, there was no science, there was nothing to make things move as fast as we have it today. So, today we have everything at our own disposal, and that is why our own march to freedom to Biafra land will be very, very fast. But if we go to recent history, let's remember Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. Let us remember South Africa. Let us remember all the nation states that just marched from the control of the ancient kingdoms. They are here today as independent nations. And it took some of them very many years. Look at Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. At the end of the day, South Africa is now an independent nation. And so are other countries. Biafra is coming to be. The bim-massob family under Chief Wazike has mapped out different stages, 25 stages to actualize Biafra. And we are almost there. We are telling our people they must exercise patience. Biafra we are talking about, we are preparing Biafra for ourselves and for our own children. Even if the Jehovah we worship says no, we cannot see, just like the Moses of old. A new era will take our children to Biafra, the promised land. This is our faith. So let us work together, not just having the intention that we must see it, but having our children in mind. But if our own Jehovah will come today to say, my children, you are going to experience Biafra, who are we? This is exactly what we are saying. The road to freedom is not an easy one. Ask Kwame Nkrumah, ask Jomo Kenyatta, ask any other African leader, ask Mobutu Sese Seko, ask what is it again, Robert Mugabe, ask many of them, even the late Nnamdi Azikiwe. The road to freedom is not an easy ride. It is fraught with dangers, fraught with time consumption and what have you. This is why we are telling our people, play cool, we are almost there. We are going to set up some of those paraphernalia of office that will enhance Biafra administration once everything starts. Have patience with us. We are almost there. Nigerian government is aware of this. The African Union is aware of it. Yeah, of course, the ECOWAS, and then the international community, United Nations. We are heading there. From next month, January, Biafra League starts, and then our FM, our Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, everything will come into play, and Biafrans, the whole world, we know that we are going to be. So we are telling our people that the road to freedom is very, very far. But with determination, consistency, and faith, we are going to reach there, because Our own God has given us the necessary wherewithal to get to our own promised land. This is what we are assuring our people. The time has come indeed. Indeed, the time has come when we shall be blessing our own nation called Biafra. Let me go to Uche Diji, who is in Ghana. Uche, people are saying, road to freedom is too far. Why is it so? What advice do you have for such people who are thinking that it has taken us a lot of time before actualizing Biafra?
You're my moderator, and I am here to advise them. Although you have said it all, every Biafra have to understand that nothing good comes so easy. Even for you to build a mansion, it just started a day, but it will not be finished in a day. Most of our people have been brainwashed beyond any human imagination because of cheap article, because of promises that can never be achieved or can never be realized. This is not the wish of God. You have said it all when you try to mention the journey of the people of Israel. You know, when you try to educate people on the regard of Israel being a slave in Egypt and their deliverance that comes from Almighty God. So many people think that this is just a Bible story. They do not know or understand that it is a reality. You know, this is what our people have been deceived for long. They have been deceived that Bible is not even real. When you tell them about the life or the struggle of Israelites to be independent today, they thought that it is just a story that they had. But they do not understand that this release, even God in the Bible, tell Moses when he sent Moses to go and to tell Pharaoh to let my people go to liberate the people of Israel from Egypt, he tell them that I do not want them to go through the short way where they are going to meet some challenges that will lead to war, that if indeed that he allowed them to go through that way, that some of them may decide to go back to Egypt and prefer to become a slave. And this thing occurred when they are shouting about Biafra and those who say about Biafra non-violent agitations, and some are asking for war. Without war, they cannot do this. What of South Africa? They fight, they do this. What of this? Did Fred Lugard come without fighting anybody? You know, when they begin to lament on this regard, you're beginning to wonder, did they know the consequence of what they are saying? So God Almighty understands the consequences of what may happen, what is going to happen on the way eventually, if they choose the route of war. If Moses chose the route of war to liberate the people of Israel from the land of Egypt. This is the reason why it took the people of Israel long days, long years for them to be in the land where God promises them. If you may remember, eventually what happens accidentally is the disobedience of the people of Israel make the journey to be so long, like what we are experiencing today in Biafran movement. In Biafran struggle today, many have been brainwashed in other direction that war is their key strategies. That disobeying our elders who reason more than them is the best answer. That even not to allow themselves to be subjected to Almighty God and the Almighty Trinity is the best answer. These people have been brainwashed beyond every human imagination. If you go to the Bible, these people, they even believe in God. They believe, some of them believe in the Holy Trinity, and they refuse Jesus, who is among They believe in a Holy Spirit, but they refuse Jesus, which is not in order. Our people have to understand that Almighty God, the Creator, is our living legend. He is our supreme God, the supreme King, whom Chief Dr. Afo Wazirike makes a pillar of Biafra and declare that this land is the land of the rising sun, a land, a dwelling place of God on earth, which we even sing on our national anthems, times without number. So our people have to understand that the journey of independence is not just a chewing gum. It is not in a situation where Chief Dr. Wazirike will not be telling them like Rochas Dr. Rocha, who used to tell them, I am going to give you all free education. I am the chief staff of free education. This is what he used to tell them during the campaign. Likewise, others misleaders who tell them, I'm going to give you Biafra in 2015. In fact, before 2015 January, you are going to get Biafra. Give me 3 months. Yeah, I'm going to give you Biafra. Talking like they are having Biafra in their pockets. So this is what our people refuse to understand, that only God has the final say. And we have to continue to trust in Him. We are going to make sure that as we have made Him the pillar of Biafra, we are going to make sure that we listen to His word. So this, by so doing, God Almighty will not reject us or will not punish us or let our journey to prolong like the time of Israelites. If indeed that some of these misleaders and deceivers listening to my advice in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2015, I'm telling you, Biafra today would have become a great nation. Because you have to understand that some of them want you to fail. The reason why there is many groups today is because some of them want you to fail. For them to call themselves a leader, some of them do not want to work so that you will be looking when you will fail, so that they will declare themselves a leader. When you give them a work to do, they will not do the work they're supposed to do to let the nation progress. Because if you send Uche Duji to go and meet our moderator and discuss with him so things that, and I go to that journey and bring back a solid and sound discussion of what we discussed. This will help the struggle to go beyond human imagination. But when I go and come back and tell lies and go there to sabotage my own leader or our own organization out of my selfishness, this will delay the independent march. This is what the people of Israelites experience. Before Moses can come down from mountain, some of them have met God, some gods for themselves. Like what is happening today in Biafra land. Some people are today being so arrogant to display some of the idols as their God, as their protector, as what they are going to use to fight even federal government. But when the federal government comes, none of them will be still. They cannot be able to stand. They refuse to understand that Almighty God has the final say, and they refuse to understand what happens to a king in the Bible where who receive praise that belongs to God. Immediately the angels strike against him. So this is the fundamental of our agitation, the fundamental of Biafra. What we have to use as our fundamental, what we have to use as our way of behaving. We have to understand that God, who created us, who sent His Son to come to die for us, He meant well for us. He don't want us to build a nation or establish a nation that will be built with lies, that will be built with propagandas, lies, and blackmail.
If we go on to build such a nation, it will be a disgrace to his image. Because we are not going to do as he wish. So this is the reason why our independence is taking long. Despite that today we are having some facilities that is making things to move long. Some of our people have misused the facilities that was open for them, that was created for them, to make use of it to benefit Biafrans. Some of them have refused to listen to the elders, to listen to their leaders. When Ojukwu was alive, all of them were not there to create all these confusions, but they waited for him to rest in peace, so that they will divide Biafrans into pieces. What are they going to achieve? This is what can mess up the Biafran to prolong Biafran actualization to be prolonged. Biafrans today can all unite together. I believe Biafran is going to come in the near future. Thank you, my dear wonderful mother.
Thank you very much, Uche Digi. There is no better way to put it across than the way you have just done that. You delve into biblical allusion, reminding us of the reasons why God decided in his own infinite mercy to allow the Israelites to go through the desert experience before reaching to the promised land. He did not want to expose them to wars, to battles, so that some of them would not be disillusioned and begin to think of going back to Egypt, where indeed it will be more worse for them. But then, in his own infinite wisdom, he allowed them to pass through difficulties, to pass through the labyrinth, for them to get to the promised land, so that once they got there, they would appreciate everything the Almighty Jehovah had done for them. Of course, they understood. Those of them that begrudged the Almighty wisdom, where are they today? Many of them, the majority, agreed to the principles of what the Almighty Jehovah had given to them, but the few, the disobedient few, who thought it was a child's play, who decided to go back to Egypt, today, even in the years and generations to come, their spirits shall continue to look for that particular Zion promised to them by the Almighty Jehovah. The same thing is applicable in our present-day Biafra agitation. Many people would give us the impression that we cannot get Biafra unless we fight a war. How do we believe such a thing? Modern nations gain their own independence without shooting any single bullet. And so, in our own Biafra case, we are not going to shoot any gun, we are not going to waste any bullet until we get to Biafra, the Zion of Africa. Let me take a caller coming from Biafra land, number ending 5037. You are welcome to the program. This is Voice of Biafra International. Tell us your mind. Please introduce yourself first to our numerous listeners.
My name is Philip Opaleke. I'm calling from Port Harcourt. I'm a great Masobian. So I want to find out what is going on in Biafra land in Germany.
Well, we are operating right now from Germany, and we are expecting you to tell us now through our radio what is happening in Biafra land, because many people who are listening to this program are not in Biafra land right now, and they would expect you in Biafra land to tell them what is on ground. This is the irony of it all.
No, we are waiting for help from
Yes, we are telling our fellow Biafrans that anything we are putting in place now is taking time, but they are real. Because in Germany, where everything is, Germans do things slowly, gradually, but with assurance. They don't jump guns. Very soon, mark my words, very soon, our FM and our TV station, Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, will start. We are almost there, be rest assured. Our FM frequency modulation and our TV station called the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra will start, and everybody will hear us. Ijele Ndibo has made all this possible. Everything is now in the hands of the German communication system. They are working on everything day and night. Be rest assured, you will hear from us. Yes. So, you know, it's taking time. Always you want to take time, but then be assured that the very lasting. Be assured. Yes. That is it.
So, because I'm at Nigeria after this meeting, that's chief of travel. After now, chief Alex about the part of Biafra land.
Yes, my brother, Imanano Febe, Ekirimamu, Okwezoku. Good. So, I want to know particularly. I got fed to the international community now, Jackie Hindra, Gasiko advice from them. They're going to have feedback on how far we have gone. Oh, we hogger. Oh, you hogger. Oh, what also my hand on you? Oh, what also calling and cause hogger. Chief of the bim-massob family coaching. And then now go the whole world, even Nigeria, could go that anytime they will hand Biafra over power, it is going to be through the bim-massob family. Take my words.
Exactly.
Yes. Because of the way we
very much, my brother.
Yes. This is what we are doing.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming to our program.
Thank you. God bless you so much.
From tomorrow, YouTube tomorrow, clear. On a recorded.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, my dear. God bless you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Biafra has come to be. Thank God. So, like we are saying now, just like Uche DJ rightly pointed out, it is not easy to get what will be of lasting interest or benefit to you. It takes time. But once you got it, it is a perpetual enjoyment. Take a look at the Bible. Take a look at other countries that get their own independence. It was the same storyline. It is not different from what we are having in Biafra today. So, Uche Diji was on point blank by telling you the gospel truth. And I believe that people are writing in what he said was the absolute truth. God would not allow us to go through the shortcut because there are wars there. And if there are wars, many shall perish. They asked Moses, Aaron and Co. to take account of people that returned. And they said no one is missing. The bim-massob family would not like any Biafran to be missing on transit. No, every Biafran shall get to the promised land. This is our own promise. We don't want to fight any war. Not that we're afraid of wars, no. But then wars, even to the generals of war, do not benefit anybody. Because during time for wars, both the victor and the vanquished must cry. They must have lost people, and then how can you say there was a victor or the vanquished when both sides of the divide would have lost their dear ones? This is why we don't want to fight a war. Even our able leader, Chukwuemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu, he was quite unambiguous when he told the Ijele Ndibo and to the international community that another war is not necessary. We have fought a war. The world has had us. This time around, we are going to use dialogue. Dialogue and nothing but dialogue to reach Biafra land. If you doubt me, those of you who are doubting that Chukwuemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu did not say that, before I come to Jude Chijokeran to make his own comment, let us hear the voice of Dim Chukwuemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu when he told Ijele Ndibo to the whole world that another war is not necessary again before we actualize Biafra. So that those of you who are talking of wars and hostilities and crises They have to learn and guide their lives and their movements. Let us hear now from Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. Let's hear his voice.
I believed actually that would be the end. I confess to you, when I got back to Enugu, oh yes, I had a party, believing that probably the danger was over. That's what we thought. Until they then began to deny everything. It was the denial of Nigeria that made me publish the tapes of Aburi, because we had insisted that each one should have a set of tapes. Everybody talks about confederation. Go and look at the transcript. There is no time that the word confederation came from my lips. In broad terms, Aburi changed the title of head of state from Supreme Military Commander to Commander-in-Chief. It gave the regions control over internal affairs, and concurrence of each region was now required for any decision affecting the whole country.
Now, some of you who preach war, just keep on listening. We are here to feed you back.
Chief Emeka Ojukwu led the Biafrans against the government in the last war. He says it would be a mistake for anyone to provoke another.
So a lot of people will say, but you were leading the first one. Yes, I led the first one. And I will say to everyone, I led proudly the first one. I don't think a second one is necessary.
Did you hear him?
We should have learned from that first one.
That second one is not necessary. We have learned from the first one. So, to those of you who are shouting war, you can hear it from the lips of Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the People's General, that another war is not necessary. You can now understand why Ijele Ndibo has adopted the philosophy of non-violence towards Biafra actualization. He wants to make sure that his own people did not perish. He would want a situation where, on reaching the Biafra, our promised land, we take stock of the people that returned, and probably we will say nobody is missing. Just like it was said in the Bible in the time past, nobody will be missing as we move on towards Biafra land. Julie Chijoke, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ikenna. I love the way you also placed that particular, audio for Biafrans to listen, Biafrans and all well-wishers, because the most important message there goes this way. The road to freedom takes time. It takes time. It is not something you go into by, war and what have you, hoping that you are going to get something good. Well, let me start this way. Come to think of it, freedom doesn't come easy. Because I know a lot of people have been saying different kinds of things concerning the bim-massob led by Chief Dr. Raf Wazirike, saying that for quite some time that they've been expecting, Biafra to be by now. The same people have never done anything for Biafra. The same people does not even know the tactics, the methods, the things that one should do for a nation to come. They are not even supporting the peaceful organization in any kinds of form. But all they do is that most of them just sit beside the corner to say that freedom takes time. This same kind of people are people that I normally love to have interactions with. But at the end, I usually win the argument because I make them understand one particular thing, that freedom has a price, and that price for that freedom must be paid. That most of if you go to the part of the world that most of the people you see in all parts of the world that enjoys all kinds of freedom, they make several kinds of video, they post it on air, or for our fellow Biafrans who have been opportune to travel overseas to live in all parts of the world, ask them the way this, the country, the way they enjoy freedom, the way they move about, the way even the unborn children, their future is already secured. Jobs, food, transport, electricity, what have you. So, but they never knew all these things because they were not opportune to travel. They believe that it is just to go and sit by the corner, maybe you open your shop, for example, or you go to work in the morning, you come back in the evening, you put on your television, only for you to say that the struggle that has lasted for more than 10 years, at least, should have gotten you a particular, cause of the struggle for the. But the fact remains that some people sit beside and criticize and say all kinds of things concerning the Biafran struggle. Biafrans, for that matter, failing to acknowledge that they have never contributed any effort. They have never made any single effort to ensure that Biafra comes faster than they imagine. And then the other nations, the other people who have been enjoying, for example, if they go to United States of America, they will see the way their people go to Jamaica, Haiti, travel to Israel, South Africa, even the Southern Sudan and many others that we are talking of today. Their names are already in the history. If you see the way their children and these are the points which we always try to, make to our own people that Nigeria has a problem, which there is a problem that is peculiar to Nigeria, which the Biafra are scattered in all over Nigerians, living there, doing our businesses. Now, if we want to become a nation of our own, follow the ways of the bim-massob, which is non-violence. And a lot of them still think that the non-violence is not paying, the non-violence is not yielding the particular result. But today, they cannot say such. All they were saying now is that we want Biafra, just give us Biafra, just give us Biafra. They still say the same thing, despite all the achievements that we've been able to do so far. So my point always remains that I will normally tell them that if Massob choose to go non-violence, you believe me, if Massob choose to go violence, and the whole world will now say, after all the patience, after all the patience, and after all the sacrifice that you people have made, why get it wrong? Why do something wrong? That is the reason why I respect the leader of the bim-massob, Chief Dr. Ralph Wazuke. He said it from the beginning, that it is going to be a very long struggle. And a lot of people who came into the struggle believing that it is just something of maybe 1 or 2 years. They came with all kinds of tactics. That is when you find different kinds of people. But eventually, the people that doesn't believe in the non-violence method were easily expelled from Massob.
Yeah, Jude, excuse me. Let me help you there before you continue. Anybody that tells us that freedom is achieved in a hurry is there to deceive our people and to make money. And that is true. Continue from there. I just wanted to chip in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's in line with what you said. It is in line with what you said. That's why I had to support you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, the point has been made clear that we are non-violence. And the non-violence, we have decided to pursue the Biafra struggle with non-violence, and today it is paying. Most of these people we are talking of that criticized from the both sides, saying that we have been there for the past 18 years, they never said that we are the people that achieved what they are celebrating today or what they later worked up after 15 years. to agitate for. So what if this, or where will they find the guts to stand up and talk of Biafra? So there is always a pioneer, there is always a father before, there is always people that lays the foundation, and that is the reason why the bim-massob always stands firm and say that we have gotten Biafra. Every other thing will follow it in the right time. And they, you know, there are certain things that must be put in place. And this is exactly one of the things that most people doesn't understand. They think you just wake up one morning and then you go to the internet, you create different accounts in all social media. You open a radio, maybe somewhere in London, and start broadcasting, saying that the people should come out, that they are going to get Biafra. What if they give you Biafra? Where would you start from? You see? So there are certain principles which has to be followed. Most people never know this. And these principles, most of them has to do with structures and co. You know, there are certain ties you must build among your neighbors and the world in general. You know, there are certain things you must showcase. How you are going to feed your people and how you are going to generate income. A lot of people never knew this. You cannot be a country and you will be using another country's passport. You cannot say you are a country and you'll be fed by another particular country. You will not be able to feed yourself. The bim-massob have been always on this particular issues on right from the time. It takes time. So for me, that is the reason why I don't never see it as a burden. When people say that we are taking too much time to get the Biafra actualized, the same Biafra that somebody promised to get overnight. The same person that promised to get it within 3 months, where is it today? He later said 1 year, where is it today? So by now, people should know who is saying the truth and who is lying to them. So to me, I'm very happy that Chief Dr. Ralph Wazuki, the leader of the bim-massob, was able to understand all this, and they understand our people. Because if he has chosen the way of violence, believe me, I will not be there to become say I will be a member of his organization. But he found out that our people are all over the country and all over part of the world, and we do our businesses, we do our legitimate businesses. So before they can be able to identify with you and support you, you have to choose a principle of non-violence. So I'm very happy for such. And I thank God for the achievements that we've been able to do so far. And I believe it's just a question of time, that all the whole thing will be a thing of the past. And now we are going to now start doing some reckoning, looking into the. But I think we have to concentrate and move forward towards Biafra actualization. Thank you, Ikena. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our brother, our correspondent in Lagos, Jude Chijoke. You have really articulated the correct viewpoint, and our people are listening. We are here informing them. Honestly, we are here informing them, and we are glad to announce that people are really commending the quality of our broadcast. We are here to tell our people the truth and nothing but the truth. That's gospel truth. We are not here to deceive you, to promise you Biafra tomorrow, next week. And when tomorrow or next week comes, we give you another excuses. Biafra cannot be a shifting of the goalpost. We tell you it is taking time, but we are going to reach there, God willing. If Jehovah says we shall not reach there like it happened to Moses, Aaron will be there to lead our children to the promised land. Let us not think selfishly, deceive our people, and make money, and in the long run we disappear into thin air. No. Those who are sincere in this freedom, no matter the threat, don't vacate their background. A leader, a good leader can never abandon his followers. Never. No good shepherd abandons his sheep for the lion to devour. Never. If you are a good leader, if you are the captain of a battalion, You must always be there, through thick and thin. No matter, come rain, come shine, you shall be there to defend their people. How then can you claim to be a leader when ordinary noise making from the opposite camp you disappeared into thin air, never to be heard of, never to be seen, forever remaining incommunicado as incognito? How can you be called a leader? Despite the traverse he has passed in the past, Ijele Ndibo remains under contention. He is always there, providing leadership. He is always there, answering the call of the nation, of the nature. He is always there, answering any particular summons. He has never for a time deceived his people. He has never told them lies. He has never for a time abandoned the very sheep he is assigned to protect. He is always there to defend them from the claws of the lion. That is why we so much have absolute confidence in him. That is why we tell him, in you we are pleased, and through you this Biafra shall come to be. From what is happening, from what is on ground, everything is being put in place by Ijele Ndibo, Chief Dr. Wazike. Believe it or not, the facts are there, speaking for themselves. Come to Owerri, go to any part of Biafra land, and you see a clear manifestation of what we are talking about. We are not here to deceive you or to answer this name, title, this supreme, this rubbish. Chief Wazike answers, he only rap Wazike, and he says that is enough for him. Just like in Western world, you call somebody by his name, even if you're a professor or a high court judge. One thing I have discovered within the bim-massob family is that everybody is very, very simple in nature. And this is what God, our Jehovah, wants. When we are simple in nature, our Jehovah will uplift us. Let us tell our people the truth. Don't tell them Biafra today, Biafra tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, you talk of Biafra the next tomorrow. You continue to make money out of the helplessness of their people. No. Tell us the truth, no matter it takes. No matter the time it takes, we are going to understand you. It is only when you don't have clear intention, you continue to promise Biafra today, Biafra tomorrow. To whip up sentiments of our people into taking up arms. But when it is time, when the martial time comes, you disappear with your parents, leaving the helpless children of other parents to die in the hands of the Nigerian army. Tomorrow you tell us you're a leader. Who made you a leader? It is only God who chooses a leader. And the people will say, yes, this is our leader chosen for us by God. Any leader not chosen by God can never stand the test of time. Didn't you hear him? Ezenri. I repeat, Ezenri last Sunday said it all. Rather, previous Sunday said it all. He sees success from afar. He sees failures from afar. And there were reasons why a particular individual was not welcomed into his own palace. It is because he, from the beginning, was bound to fail because there was no sincerity in him. Let us rally round Ijele Ndibo, who is Ojuku's representative figure, who is there to serve the interests of our Biafran people. We are on the march. If you go close to him, you see simplicity made human. Very, very unpretending. He is our leader and we must support him at all times. Divine providence has sanctioned it, even the international community. Though it's taking time, he does not want anybody to lose his life because we are talking about freedom. Life is more precious, more important than any other thing. Let us reach the promised land, Biafra. And when we take count of our people, we will be proud to say nobody is missing. Nobody is missing. Nobody is missing. Let me go back to Accra, where Uche Diji is, and ask Uche Diji, please take over the broadcast and moderate. And hold on, please, before you take over Uche Diji, our brother who is always regular with us on broadcast, Chukwemeka Joseph Abazie, is saying, anybody saying Biafra struggle has over-delayed should tell us the actual time frame for self-determination. That is a good question. There is no time frame for self-determination. It can take any number of years. Ask people in Sudan, the Southern Sudanese. Ask South Africans how many years Mandela was in prison. Ask Mugabe how many years it took Rhodesia, then now Zimbabwe, to achieve their freedom. Ask Kwame Nkrumah what it took Ghana. Ask Nnamdi Azikiwe what it took Nigeria. Ask Modibo Kenyatta, very many others, what it took their various countries to achieve independence. We are not in a hurry, much as we are hastening. When we make these plans, we ask our own Jehovah to consider our own plight and tell us when it will be. Only Jehovah knows when Biafra shall come. We are doing everything humanly possible to make it a fruition. Remember, just like the last days to come, our Jehovah says, nobody knows except He, Jehovah. In the same vein, the day Biafrans would reach homeland Biafra, only our divine Jehovah will tell us. That is why day in, day out, through thick and thin, in darkness and in light, through the mountains and the valleys, through the rivers and the plain, we keep on asking Him, be with us, do not abandon us, do not be far from us, for danger is near. Protect us, guide us, lead us to the right path. We are not going to overstep the bounds. We are not going to place the cart before the horse. We follow due process based on our own philosophy of non-violence. If you are not conversant with that, if you don't want to agree with us, give us an alternative, provided this alternative is not something you start today and tomorrow you disappear into thin air, leaving your followers helpless at the mercy of the lion to devour them. This is what we are telling all our leaders. Uche Diji, are you online with us? You can take over the command right now. While reminding you, Chidoke, that when tomorrow comes, you are going to be in charge of the studio. Uche Diji, are you there with us? Yeah, please, speak out, please. We cannot hear you very well. Speak out.
Yeah, I am right here with you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, it's clear now. Go on. Please take over the studio.
Okay, my moderator. Once again, this is Voice of Biafra International broadcasting from Germany. We will continue to enlighten you and enlighten the nation.
No, Uche, I disagree with you. Uche, I disagree with you. Right now, you are broadcasting from Ghana.
Sure. Thank you very much for correcting me. You know why I say that is broadcasting from Germany is due to our head office is in Germany. But right now, I am in Ghana, one of the crew member of Voice of Biafra International. So please, my able brethren, I would like you to understand what I mean by that. Thank you, my able moderator, for correcting me. Before I go on, carry on this duty tonight, I would like my fellow Biafrans to enjoin me in praise to God, to worship, to understand that Almighty God in heaven is the one who knows our problems, whom we continue to pray to, whom we continue to hold on, whom we continue to make the pillar of Biafra, whom we continue to inform the world that Biafra is the God kingdom on earth. Let them just enjoy with me this little short music. Thank you. God Almighty knows your problem.
Almighty knows the problems of Biafrans. He knows the problems of all nations. He created us and He made it possible for Chief Dr. Afo Wazirike to establish a Biafran that is going to come on non-violent, non-exodus philosophy. Once again, I continue to indicate that God is the one that is going to extend His hand to our neighbor in love, to educate, to make sure that civilization reaches all over Africans and reaches the nations entirely. Because if we, dear friends, continue to preach war or continue to misbehave or continue to let our people to go through non-violence, then these new Biafrans, we are making people our enemies. We are making neighbors our enemies. You can understand the importance of unity, the importance to live in peace that makes Donald Trump, the president of America, to continue to extend his hands to Korea, to South Korea, to let them to understand that peace is the best way to go. For that reason, the Biafra Chief Dr. Afo Wazirike Ijelendibo the second, the Ijelendibo of Biafra is telling us about is the one that is going to come. We do appreciate it because it is the handwriting of God that He reached out to us, that He continued to entrust the battle, He continued to introduce to the world and Biafrans at large. I am very grateful to Him. Julie Chidioke, I hope you are there with me.
Yes, Chidioke is online. Julie Chidioke, he's asking if you're online with him.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
I am here. I'm not
right I want to recall your mind during the time of campaign of our brother, Governor Rochas Okorocha. You may understand that he was preaching that he is the master of free education, that is going to give free education beyond every human imagination. And Senator Ararume was that time telling the people that I am going to make sure that I reduce the fees that you used to pay, the fees, so that even the poor people, the poor masses, can be able to go to school. Please, you see that today all those promises that he have made in the past, like our brother who the radio Biafran in London was established to, who continue to promise our people, I am going to fight, I am going to bomb Nigeria, I am going to do this, blah, 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 talking what is not in lineage of his master philosophy. What do you see today? Is it not that the same failure of free education in Imo State or giving you Biafra before 2015 or before 2017? Thank you. What do you have to say about?
Yeah, thank you very much, Uche. I think my own take on will be a very simple one, but I think I'm going to emphasize a little bit on it. First of all, I wouldn't want to link the Biafra agitation with the Nigerian politics, because when Rochas Okorocha, we knew how he got to become a governor, and at that particular time, I knew how he rallied around with our late leader, Chukwemeka Ojukwu, Ezigbo the one. The first, I remember the way Rochas Okorocha was able to clinch to become a governor, and eventually he twisted everything and then decamped to another party, which wasn't the party that brought him to power. So ever since then, I don't all that regard his moves, and then I'm not surprised anything that comes out for him. Then and when he came to for the second term, I think I also observed that he used all kinds of whatever methods, to see if he can be able to, should I say, convince or confuse the people. While the same people actually think that, whatever he's saying that he's going to keep to it. But eventually today, they know better. Today, the Imorites knows better. So if you are to connect both, I think you are going to connect it in the times of the way our people are being sheepishly, because a learned person, a person who is sensible a bit, not even much, should be able to dictate or find out when people are lying. You see, when you see a true leader is going to tell you the truth. You may hate him for that at that particular moment. You may not all that enjoy his company. If you are the person that respects truth, you will respect the truth because the truth is never cheap. But a lot of people think that whoever that comes out and say this and say eventually that this person is still going to keep to that. Today, we all know better. We all know. So connecting it with Biafra struggle now goes the same way. Somebody will come out and tell you that it's going to get you. It is either Biafra or death. And you yourself know that this same person yeah, go on. I can hear you.
Like your advice is that you move straight to the point by stating that a fake person can promise you heaven and earth in order to win your soul. I can remember those days when my elderly brother, that time we have not even built a house. My elderly brother used to go and tell some women that in the upstairs that we are living belongs to his father. You see? So using the upstairs to confuse some of these women that like mansions. You have stated it clearly that most of people are looking some cheap words in order to believe that yes, Biafra is coming tomorrow, when they don't know where they are heading to. Indeed, the Biafra we are talking about is not the Biafra that each governor will emerge or president will emerge. It will take them the next 6 years or the next 5 years or 4 years for them to provide a commissioner, for them to commission to bring or to complete election for local government chairman. This is not the Biafran we are talking about. Indeed, the Biafran we are talking about is the one that the law we stated. We state that after the election is declared, within 4 months' time or within 5 months' time, we are giving the governor or the president the mandate or the power to conduct or to choose some ministers and commissioners that is going to work for him, and it moves that way. Or rather, he pays this penalty. And we speak on that, on those laws. We are speaking for Biafra that we come, and our children and our generation enjoy the freedom and the law that we put in place. We are asking for Biafra that we come and we value it. I must tell you, Jude Chioke, that sometimes you will understand that what someone got freely, he may not even value it. He may not even take good care of it. Because sometimes it was given freely to you. For that reason, you can be using it to play football. But if you go out and work for it, if you suffer to get it, I am telling you that Biafra is going to be in fact a mirror to all African continent. This is exactly what you are trying to tell us. Continue with your advice to Biafra. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Uchediji. I really appreciate, the way you are able to analyze, the last line, because most of our people, I think the question for me, the question should be is that does the people love the truth? Does our people love the truth? If they claim they love the truth, I think it is time we start telling ourselves the truth. If we actually love the truth, could you believe that somebody that you are telling that the bim-massob is fighting for the Biafran cause, and they are doing it the non-violent way that is going to get Biafra, and Biafra will be assured. The same person will tell you that somebody promised them that there will not be election if they refuse to participate in any election in Nigeria, that they are going to give them referendum. So they now said they are going to, they believe the one that is good, that they are going to probably sit at home, be eating offense salad, and then they will get the referendum. That will be a faster way of getting Biafra than them following the principle. And I now ask them, what assurances, for example, have you been given that if you boycott an election that you are going to actually get? Do you know what the referendum is? Do you know the difference between? Do you know the difference between referendum and the election? They don't know. You ask them, before you become a nation, do you know that there are certain principles? Do you know that there are some certain places you have to go, to ensure that you are registered as a freedom? They don't know. What are the model of particular people? Is it what the Mr. A is fighting for? Is it not the same thing that the Mr. B is? What stops them from coming together? Why don't Mr. B go under the umbrella of Mr. and still follow the same principle of non-violence, even if he doesn't agree in all methods, but still follow the principle of non-violence? They don't know. So all they want is something they come out to the television and they see. Probably you pick up your phone, somebody will tell you that is certain things into his account, that is going to buy ammunition, and you are busy paying. A lot of our people have been brainwashed. A lot of our people have been misled. And that is exactly what led to what happened in Umuahia. The Afaruku of 18, it was a disaster. It was a very big disaster. And that is where lies can actually lead people to. And today, the people knows better. I keep saying the people knows better, because a lot of people that actually thought that is the way that they probably is going to be gotten through intimidation, blackmailing, threats and all kinds of abuses, that Biafra is going to be gotten in such a way, have now known better that Biafra shouldn't be associated with probably all these kinds of stuff and terrorism. You can imagine a particular organization, are being proscribed terrorists, which we are also totally against, because our people are not terrorists. And we never at any time prayed for such. But the people should be able to differentiate. The problem is that we have continued to emphasize on this particular radio, and I thank God that a lot of people are beginning to key into the principle, understanding the way the bim-massob and the motives why the bim-massob was formed. It is not for we to throw the country into confusion and now break out by all kinds of. We are scattered all over. If anything happens and our people are all over in part of Nigeria, we are going to suffer a very big loss. A lot of people know this. We have properties, we have all kinds of things in all parts of the country and in the world in general. So the principle of non-violence has always been paying. It do take time, but it always pays at the end. And that, I believe, that it is always going to be the best option. And I've been following that till today. Uche DJ, I don't know if you are there. Yeah, hello, Uche.
Yes, I'm listening, my brother. What you have stated is very clear. And what you have analyzed have been what I wanted to tell my people. I wanted to inform our people that have been misled. You know, if you are building a house that is going to be more preferable and more relaxable and more designed than the one your father built, you must have been studied the quality and all the instruments that was used, the design, the plans, and started making the foundation that will be more preferable than that one that your father led. You know, what I am trying to say is, if we want to build a nation that will be more preferable than Nigeria and beyond other African continents, because here in Ghana, I must tell you that they enjoy their security service. They enjoy their freedom. You know, they are contented with what they have. You see? So now, if you want to build a nation that will be more preferable than this kind of country, you must know the reason why Nigeria fell. And you have to, not only by talking blah, 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 not only by making noise, not only by being a comedian or being one of the entertainers. No, not only by being a commentator, but you have to be an action investor. You have to invest. You have to invent. You have to try to put your wisdom in action. This is exactly what Chief Dr. Rafu Wasrike started and is doing. He's not coming to a radio station every day and be telling lies and be blackmailing, and tomorrow you said, oh, this person has collected oil well, and when you ask him, where is the oil well, where is it located, you know it is money. When you tell him, oh, we will give him the money, oh, when you ask him where, he said, oh, it is good luck. Just lying upon lies. I think one of our broadcasts, our able moderator was able to, or our brother from Japan was telling our people that if you lie once, you will find another 10 lies to cover one. Already one, you just lie. Just to cover only one, you have to lie 10 times again to cover the one you already lied. Like tomorrow you tell them, oh, you will give them Biafra. Oh, the next one, oh, you will give them Biafra. The next time, oh, referendum is coming. No, next 2 months, I am meeting. All these things continue to be lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. Lies that have no facts. If you say, stating that, oh, Nigeria is not good. Oh, you want to build a nation that's going to be more preferable than Nigeria. We are expecting you, people are expecting you to start something greater, different, that will be seen, not noise making, that will be seen physically. If you think that Nigeria is not taking care of their officers, is not taking care of their workers, is not taking care of their land, you have to begin from home. Start taking care of your people. You can understand that Ijele Igbo, being a bim-massob leader and BIM leader, started taking care of our ex-heroes, the ex-militaries. Even today, they still being active in office. in every occasion we are doing, like Ojukwu Memorial Day, even our new day, our new freedom declaration, they have been attended. They have been strong and active. You know? So this is what we are trying to tell them. You have to put those things in active. You have to share. You have to try your possible best to let out in our military soldiers. We have been taking care of them. The Jelendigo have built for them. Massob have built for them. Massob is taking good care of them, feeding them and taking their medications. Nobody can doubt that a long time ago they were in Ojirifa begging. But today they are living in a very comfortable place, in a very comfortable way. They are living comfortable life like every other living legend. We celebrate them. They become very glad and very happy.
In fact, Uche, let me cut in there. Uche, excuse me. Uche, let me cut in there, please. Uche, hold on.
You express your love.
Uche,
The love you continue to preach. The love that you continue to tell other nations that you are going to show to them.
Yeah, Uche, let me come in there, please.
These people that continue making noise in the internet, these people that continue to even to deploy a weapon that will destroy their own mothers and their fathers during the election day and beyond.
Yes, Uche, let me cut in, please.
To provide, have no way, in any way, to extend their love, extend their house of love to our people. Nothing they can be able to provide or show to show that indeed that the Biafra we are talking about is the one they are spreading up, is the one they are spreading. They are only chameleon. They are only chameleon in human nature. Just like a green snake in green grass. They tell you Biafra, but what in their mind, what they are calling is for money, like Judas of yesterday. This is the same Judas of the day we are talking about. This is not a hateful word. This is not a hurtful speech. But I am trying to give you facts and reasons. Today, we are celebrating our late hero, the man who made it possible for we to answer Biafra and even existed for a good 3 years. Even for United Nations to have a monument for Biafra in the United Nations ground. It is there, giving us the status that makes a nation. We celebrate him today with our love because of the love we have for this newborn nation we are talking about, that we come by non-violent, non-exodus. Today, we are expressing our feeling, our love, our kindness, our people to our living legends and dead legends. If you go to even in one of our movie acted by Biafra under the leadership of Chief Totorafu was leader, which the topic or the theme is I will in Otale Biafra. Yes, Otale Biafra. When you are watching that movie, you will be hearing untouchable songs that our people used to sing. They used to make the movie. We stated, I remember Biafra children who died fighting for freedom. I remember Biafra children who died. We remember them. We celebrate them. We pray for them. I remember when I went to the church to book mass for them. because we love them, because we cherish them. This is the type of Biafra we are talking about. Not a noisemakers who continue to preach hate war to our neighbors, who continue to make empty threats, even in the television, Sahara television, who continue to go to Malaysia and Thailand beyond to make a selfish broadcast, selfish interview, thinking that they are not going to go with the chief photographer the Biafra we are talking about, because he tell them no to war. Likewise, the Almighty God tell the people of Israel that I am not going to lead you to the road that will lead you to war. It's not that God cannot defend them, but He knows the reason. He knows the heart of the people that He is guiding. He knows that they are a very stubborn people. It's their least. But why I like them, why God likes them is not only that they are strong, but they are wise. They are wise enough to reason, But the people of Biafra today, the question is, can they be able to reason and flowing someone who is just a talkative, who cannot be able to implement a single declaration that he made? Let people go and watch the video was written where he is declaring on the day he's hosting flag. Did those people host flag? Did they have anything they declare they are going to go through? The three strategies they declare they are going to go through, I continue to promise them they are going to stay on one until Biafra emerge. All the strategies that the Chief Dr. Rafu was declared on the day he hosted flag, he is putting them in practice. He tell the world that we are going to make sure that we reintroduce our currency. Didn't he do it? He tell the world that he is going to make sure that he launch our own police officers. Didn't he do it in the terms of security? Are they not there today? Can't you see them even on the day we tell the world that Biafra State is very important? Can't you see them in the Ojukwu Memorial ceremony? Can't you see the dignitaries that attend the call to celebrate Ikem Odumegwu Ojukwu, the people general? All away from our neighboring town, all away from our neighboring country. Here, the military of the second in command of military head of state, Sonny Abraham of Aji. Even Ambassador Shetima Yorima is there live, present. Ambassador Bianca was there, and many others. If our philosophy is not good, our people used to say, if the road is so sweet, we will say, oh, let us go eat again. That is the reason why they continue to attend our program. If our road is not good, if the philosophy of Chief Dr. Rafu Wazirike is not well cared, if it is not well designed, Archbishop, the Bishop of Owerri, the Catholic Bishop of Owerri, attend Ojukwu Memorial Day in honor of our late hero, our late legend, in promotion of Biafra actualization. So our people have to get this to their knowledge. They have to understand that the emergency of Biafra, emergency of Massob, BIM, makes the Nigerian government to even celebrate us. The last day we celebrate our independence, we have been doing it for years. The last day, they even, Obasanjo and the others of them, who arrested Chief Dr. Rafu Wazirike even in Togo, they celebrate Biafra. The world is talking about us. because of the philosophy of Chief Dr. Rafu was written. Some of them will tell you, we continue to go to broadcast, oh, he received money. Can't you see car he's driving? He received money. You will first of all ask them, in what purposes? You will first of all ask them, did he receive money when? And who is the signature to that? You will first to ask them, what money is him, not a car owner, before he started this trouble? You will first of all ask them, is him not a landlord in Lagos State before he started this trouble? You will first of all ask them, is him not a house owner in Owerri capital, in Imo State, Owerri precisely, before he started this trouble and beyond, which he even dashed to Biafran actualization. When people continue to trying to mesmerize his name, God continued to promote him because of the love that he have shown to his people, because of the countless sacrifices that he have made, have been arrested for not less than 20 or 15 good times. But he continued to move along with his sheep. As the shepherd that the Lord introduced to us, he continued to lead us. He continued to be there for us. He continued to grant interview.
Yeah, okay, Uche, I have to let me come in now. Uche, you have to start rounding up because we are running short of time. You have to just start rounding up right now. We have less than 10 minutes to close the program to reconvene tomorrow, please. Yeah, but however, we are really enjoying your commentary. We are indeed enjoying your commentary very, very well. Just like Chijoke equally commented, the Biafrans are commenting in the two write-ups here. They are really enjoying the truth all of you are telling them, and this is what they want. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my able moderator. You and the Chief Dr. Wazirike made it possible for we to gather here today to make sure that we enlighten our people, to make sure that we inform them that the Biafra we are talking about is not just a bragging one. It's not the one we will just talk and there will be nothing to show. Anyone that attend the Ojukwu Memorial Day will understand the amount we have invested in Ojukwu Memorial Library. So anybody that continue to accuse Chief Dr. Wazirike, he has to ask them, before he established Radio Biafra in London, whose money did he use to do that? Biafran and the Massob is a very rich organization. He is our leader.
Okay, now, Uche, let me take it from there. Let you Chijoke make some comments and then I round up the program. But you have to be prepared tomorrow. You and Jude are going to handle the broadcast tomorrow once again. We would want to give everybody opportunity to moderate our program because when Ikenna Obibiagon is not available, anybody can take up the challenge and address our people. We don't believe in monopoly. We don't believe in a particular radio station where only one person is the commander-in-chief, this and this. No. We make sure we share ideas, we share jobs, we share everything. This is what makes us very, very unique. You hear different voices, thereby creating variety. Briefly, for us to round up the program.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ikma. Uche DJ, I was very, very proud of you, from the way you've been able to analyze, there are some certain times I would have loved to come in, but you cannot hear us when you talk. So, but I think the main question always rests on, do our people love the truth? Do they listen to the truth and do they respect? I think this question is very, very important. And I believe that as our people are listening, right, they have known that there is nothing like anybody who is telling them of referendum anymore. So does that mean that the word referendum have been buried? You know, I think the truth remains that the bim-massob have always been the people who started the struggle, and they have been moving in slow but so, and then a lot of people knew that they are there, and a lot of people knew that the bim-massob have made a lot of progress when you come in the times of Biafra, but not knowing fully well that the Biafra struggle is not a radio kind of a program. It is not something you make an achievement and you broadcast everything in the internet, you know. But I think our people, if our people respect the truth, I think we will be making a lot of progress. Because my little interview with some of our brothers who have actually been misled, what I actually found out was that they are tired of Nigeria. Our people are tired of Nigeria, and the most of them does not know how to start or where to go from. So they just wanted to see if they can get a very easy exit. So they ended up falling to anybody who goes to a particular country or any country and open a radio and name it Radio Biafra. So that is how the whole thing started. And no program. You will see somebody, you call yourself an organization, you don't have a program, a kind of a blueprint, a kind of something that you want to. If you the people will still sheepishly be following such a people. I think that should be the main lesson to our people. Our people should be able to know when people are lying to them and when people are saying the truth. And I really thank God for the bim-massob, because without the bim-massob today, who else will be talking of Biafra? Nobody. Even if anybody is saying of Biafra, the person will be under the cave or under the hiding, whatever, to be saying Biafra. But today, the bim-massob is live on the ground and telling the people that we have gotten Biafra and they follow us. We are the way to follow. The bim-massob is laying a kind of a road. They have set the pace and followed, and now they're telling the people to follow the pace. So I really thank God for bim-massob today. And the bim-massob program has always been going on. Like, for example, the last concluded Ojukwu Memorial Day anniversary, which happened on November 26th. The world saw what happened, and a lot of exhibitions, a lot of displays shows that truly Biafra is here. You will see the same Biafra who people have claimed that they don't love each other, that they are in this array. You will see the same people that they say that they have collected money. You will see them coming out displaying. So I think to get Biafra is not to come up on the main road to go and block the road, and start saying that it's either they give you Biafra. What you are doing, you are trying to provoke the military, the Nigerian military, because that is not it. So I thank God for our people that are listening. I thank God for those that are making a U-turn. And I'm at the same time advising those who still made up their mind, believing that probably something will happen one day. Maybe somebody that ran away will come back, and they will not start again where they stop. I think the person should go and look for a very good water to wash his and cool his head and tell himself the truth. Because if you are not being lied to, by today you should have been seeing the particular results of what you have been following for some time now. So I think the bim-massob have really set a very good foundation, and they've really showed a very good way which the Biafrans, embrace. So it's just remaining some few pockets of people who still think they can come online and they maybe abuse people or introduce all kinds of confusion just to make themselves relevant. So I think those areas are areas that which we've probably fizzled out in a question of time. So I really thank you, Ucheduji, for those emphasis and the ideas. I think the bim-massob is actually the way to follow. I think all Biafrans who are listening today, I thank all Biafrans who are listening for being able to pay attention to our today's broadcast. I really thank you all. Thank you, Chediji, and thank you, Ikenna.
Thank you very much,
Chediji. Are you there?
Yeah. And our able moderator.
Thank you very much.
Moderator, I'm sorry. Can you allow me to greet my people before we go on?
Of course, go on.
Okay, thank you. I will never tire in Biafran race. This is what our people have to understand. By the grace of God that I will not tire. Let our people continue to support Ijelendibo. We will not get tired soon or soonest until Biafra come. I pray that by the supreme power of Almighty Trinity God, He will continue to strengthen you. He will continue to strengthen our leader Ijelendibo, Chief Dr. Afu Wazirike, and all the leaders and all the Voice of Biafra crew members and leaders. I will continue to ask God Almighty to continue to protect and guide you all in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Thank you. This is your humble servant, Uche. God bless you.
Thank you very much once again, Uche Diji and Jude Chijoke, for your immense contributions to this evening's broadcast intended at enlightening our people in all things. We thank you 1,000 times and keep on praying that God will always be with you. We are so much appreciative of your patriotism, of your commitment, of your sacrifice for our own people. We cannot forget any of you. And be rest assured, our people already have you in their minds, in their hearts. We thank you for your sacrifice. When many are out there pursuing their own individual businesses, you are here sacrificing for their own interests. That is what makes the difference. Thank you once again for being with us, fellow Biafrans. Thank you that you are going to be with us again tomorrow. From the satellite station of the Voice of Biafra International, Ikenna Udibiegon is saying, thank you, remain blessed, and good night.